This is the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sarah Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550. And now, here's your host, Sarah Mohsin.
It's the weekend edition, folks, the Mohsin Program, and I'm really grateful for the time that Lenny is having joining us here today. Lenny, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing really good. Thank you.
So I've had you on before. This is something that I have to say. We were talking about the word humble, humility. You have that this great quality. You do such great work here, in the city with the Docs program, and which I absolutely love and have been able to be a part of and want to keep continuing because I've learned a great deal from you as well as the folks there, the kids there. Can you just share what is the DOCS program? What is it exactly?
DOCS is an acronym. DOCS is our Downtown Outreach Center and Shelter. It's one of the many services that our agency, Family Links, provides, and we target specifically the homeless 18 to 24 age population, folks who are displaced, transient, homeless, couch surfing, that type of thing. It's something that I've been doing for now between 25 and 30 years. So it's a part of me, I guess you could say. It's something that is dear to me, and you got to love it to do it, and you got to understand the circumstances of young people and how to get them from point A to point B.
Right. It's a really remarkable, the program, I have to say. And how many years has it been in place for?
The shelter itself?
Mm-hmm.
It started before my time. It started as a shelter program in a church in downtown Pittsburgh, in the basement of a church in downtown Pittsburgh on Oliver Street. And it moved from there to a storefront on Smithfield, and from Smithfield it moved to its current location in the uptown section of Pittsburgh on 5th Avenue. And we've been there for about 32 years, since 1987.
And with the Outreach Center, it's so much more in itself that it allows the youth. I don't know if you call them kids anymore.
You call them kids. You call them young adults.
Young adults.
You call them other things too sometimes. They call us other things sometimes.
I love that. I had a great time. I learned so much. It was truly a blast because there's this great environment. The counselor is there, and it's not lecturing. It's kind of learning and embracing and offering workshops.
Absolutely. We just had one this morning, life skills workshop. Partner agency is working with our kids to get them trained to be able to get out into the work world and earn a livable wage. Now we're focusing on wages that people can live off of.
Wonderful.
So we do our workshops, and we do in-house group projects too, just on things that tie to people's self-esteem, things that tie to their nutrition, educational support if they need it, dealing with the community, dealing with relationships. We try to hit on everything that people encounter, just as you and I would encounter in life.
Right.
We're ready for the real world.
Right. And then one of the other things that I really also love is that there's this ability for continuing education. So there's workshops. They're given tools to get back into the workforce.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And can you...
No, what we do is we don't actually do that work in the facility. The facility is mainly their home while they're there. But we do make referrals to outside agencies who target specific trades or educational opportunities to get them to, at worst case scenario, minimum basic education, which is a high school diploma or that equivalent. And we've also had kids who've been in college and graduated from college. So homelessness cuts across all those lines. So
it does. It does. And that's what when I was there, it's remarkable. There are kids who've been in college and then they couldn't complete, or there's just different issues like any person faces. If home life is difficult, it's going to be just a tough journey. We just need a support system to get us back on track, right?
Yeah, and circumstances in the home can affect different kids in different ways. You know, some kids are a little bit stronger and can deal with some of the things that go on and can find their way. And then there are other kids who need support, who need to know that there's a way that they can become successful and that they can get over the obstacles of whatever the home environment created for them, and that they can still be successful out here in the world.
Right, and that's one of the things that it is a question of like how children are affected, and there's different things that are created there. That it could be a family where there may be addiction, there could be abuse, there could be non-acceptance based on their, whether they're looking at different choices in their life,
Sure.
and so it's quite remarkable because of the conversations that I was really grateful for with the kids there. It was very memorable because they're all very aware of where they are, what they're going to do, what the goals are, but there's always this nice kind of combination between your counselors who aren't in a kind of lecturing position, which I love because it's kind of like we're just here. And there's acceptance, which is very important. And then you have an extended program, right?
The transitional.
Right. What is that program exactly?
Well, let me separate the programs out a little bit and kind of differentiate.
Yes.
The emergency shelter program is basically just that. It's a shelter program to provide for homeless individuals, and it's an emergency situation, so it runs 30 to 60 days for kids. Our transitional living program is a residential program that affords kids the opportunity to be in our services for just under 2 years. So if we have a kid in our transitional program, then they can stay there at least that long. I think it comes out to, at maximum, 635 days, which is 21 months. It's a federally funded program. And it gives kids an opportunity to get stabilized and still be supported by our services and work and save money and become more involved in making right decisions and getting support behind those decisions and things like that. 18 to 24 it's transition age. It's, I don't know I think I can remember from 18 to 24. There was a whole lot of things that I didn't know. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. Looking back on it, there was a lot that I didn't know and a lot of benefit that I could have had from having supports of people who, who cared and who wanted to provide me with right answers to questions, because a lot of the kids have questions. Some of them are too proud to ask. They don't want you to know what they don't know. Yeah. So you got to kind of build relationships and get them to where they can trust you, which is a big factor for us. And then I think there are two things that we try to focus on: garnering trust so that we can have healthy working relationships with kids. And I always believe that all people have a certain skill. Everybody is good at something, and being able to get that out of kids and letting that flourish and give them an opportunity to explore that quality in themselves is a challenge for us. And that's where we like that. We like that. I think that's healthy.
It is, and I was talking to one of the counselors about just the offering the workshops or the possibilities versus telling.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's kind of very important in all walks of life where we are dealing with adults or children and suggestions and just saying, this is available. Because there's this thing with whether you're, even in recovery or addiction or issues that are dealing with family matters, often when we really love someone, we are like trying to push them into doing something. And that's not really, they're not ready. Maybe
Absolutely.
Their spiritual path isn't like one for us to take, but for them to take ownership of. And then the counselor had said, presented this workshop, months went by, and they knew exactly the child that would be perfect for this workshop. And this young man eventually, a few months later, said, hey, do you still have that workshop? And that's where that's the eureka. Like, that's what happens. Right. You know what I mean?
That's the key. It's called transition for a reason. you know, because it's like a 6-year span of time. And that when we take on a kid, especially when they're in that 18, 19-year-old age range, we kind of take them on for that period of time in their life because they can learn things and go out on their own and not succeed. They can try things. A lot of times kids want to try things on their own because they think they know what they need to know. Mm-hmm. So we give them that opportunity. Right. But they always know they have a place to come back to if they fall. Mm-hmm. And that's partly what the shelter does. We've had a lot of kids who've been out there in the world and they come back again.
Right.
And when they do, we're kind of looking for, okay, what's different with this kid now? And most often you'll see that there's a change in their outlook and the change in their receptibility to support and help and kind of guidance and direction, because failure will do that to you.
It will.
It will. It'll humble you a little bit.
It sure will.
And that's why we're there. We're there to allow you to make mistakes. We're not there to condemn you because you made a mistake.
Exactly. And without failure, you're not gonna finish. Yeah, you have to. That's how you learn. Mm-hmm. If you don't fail, then you must be a trust fund baby or something. But even then, you have to, failure in relationships or... If
you don't fail, you're probably not trying.
True.
Probably.
True.
Failure's okay.
Failure to me is number one, because if you don't fail, that means you're not trying to do better, to, pursue that dream of yours, whatever it is. You know what I mean? It is like... Nowadays, people say success is, we have to make $1 million. That's not success necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Right. Could be just maybe you want to be married. Maybe you want to have kids. Maybe you want to just be in a safe place that you're going to be happy, have peace of mind. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like that's your journey. That's your adventure, right? That's right. And the failure is part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's the best part, because then you're continuing, right?
That's right.
The growth.
You're on a journey.
Right. Can you just share the contact information for docs?
Sure. We can be reached. Our shelter number 412-924-0500. Our shelter program is located in the uptown section of Pittsburgh, 1601 Fifth Avenue. We're about 3 to 4 blocks outbound from the PPG Paints Arena. Mm-hmm. That's kind of when we, it's interesting that area is going through a lot of development now with condominiums and things like that.
Right.
And but when we got there, it was prostitution and drugs and alcohol and bars and things, and it turned out to be the perfect place to be, because it can become a safe haven in the midst. It became a safe haven in the midst of all of that stuff that was going on around it. And now it's starting to develop into something different, which is good, too.
It is. I mean, obviously, Pittsburgh's changing and growing.
Oh, yes.
But the people don't. People have great, values and support system and family-based. I love this city for that. And, we have a great community. So, for support, or can people contribute or make donations or things like that?
Sure. I would suggest the best way to go about doing that is to contact Family Links, the development department, and that number is 412-661-9750. The administrative office is located in Highland Park, East Liberty, at 401 North Highland Avenue.
Okay, great memory, Lenny. Folks, you can also reach us here, 1-800-662-9550 if you need any information. I love this program, and I really have a great deal of admiration for you, Lenny. You are a humble, kind-hearted person.
And I appreciate the opportunity to get the message out on the airwaves and get people who may not know about who we are and what we're doing, to get them to know about it a little bit. So it's kind of a two-way street. It's
important work. It's for the kids, and I think that age bracket from 18 to 24 is really important.
You have to love them.
You have to love them.
You have to love them.
Yes. So
even when they don't think you love them.
This is true. And with that, folks, stay well. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you.
This has been the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sarah Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550.